lovely people, and welcome to my February wrap-up video. As far as reading goes and watching movies, it was a little bit of a bummer. I only read 2 books in the month of February, and there are a couple of reasons why I think I only finished 2 books, and I'll get to those later. But first, the very first book I read in the month of February was The Air Affair by Jasper Fforde. I really liked this book. There were bits and pieces of it that were a little bit slow, even though it was a really small book. It took me a couple of weeks to read. I had started it at the end of January, but I really loved the variety of genres that this book tackles. Probably the least enjoyable one was the more political and police drama portions of this book, but I still really liked it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. My only regret about reading this book is that I read it before Jane Eyre, so it has kind of spoiled most of Jane Eyre for me, but that's okay. The second book I read in the month of February was Across the Universe by Beth Revis, and I read this with the lovely Laraine Batista. I generously gave this book 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, mostly for the reading experience. I read most of this book in one night because I was really intrigued about the world building and the society built within this book. But there were several problems with this book. This book probably, on my scale, is more of a 3-star, but it was the first book in a while that I just had to finish reading in one sitting. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. But if you'd like a more in-depth and eloquent review of this book, I will link Lorraine's video where she talks about this book in the description below. And as far as the month of February goes for movies, I didn't watch a single new movie, but I did start watching a new television show, which is probably why I only finished 2 books this month. And the TV show is Once Upon a Time. I didn't think I was going to love this as much as I did, but it was really addicting, and I have flown through the first season and got my husband into it, and we have also flown through the second season up until what's on TV currently. I really like this show. There are some writing issues and plot holes and whatnot, but it's really entertaining and really addictive. If you don't know what Once Upon a Time is about, it is like a fairy tale retelling set in the modern world. It's a little more complicated than that, but if you're into fairy tales, you should definitely check this out. The other reason that I only finished 2 books in the month of February would probably have to be because of this lovely book right here, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Honestly enjoying it. It's just really slow. I have about 8 chapters left, and I'm probably going to finish this in the month of March. My library also has a copy of the Masterpiece Theater Jane Eyre miniseries that I'm looking forward to watching as soon as I finish this book. That's all of the media that I experienced in the month of February. I have about 6 to 8 books that I'm really interested in reading in the month of March, but considering that I only read 2 in the month of February, I don't know if I'll get to them all, but I'll show them to you anyway. The first book I'd like to finish in the month of March, as I mentioned earlier, is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. The next book I would like to read in the month of March is Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. Beautiful Creatures by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. The No. 1 Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith. Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. This lovely Folio Society edition of Full Comfort Farm by Stella Gibbons. Just One Day by Gail Forman, and Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. Alrighty guys, that is all for my February wrap-up and my kind of March TBR. If you've read any of these books, I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. I'm currently reading Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. What are you reading?